This is Akashwani. In the weekly program Current Affairs, now we bring you a discussion on rising Northeast, India's next big investment destination. The participants are Deepak Devan, expert Northeast Affairs, and A. Anand, advisor, ASAN Electronics Development Corporation Limited. Moderator is Gaura Dhawal.
Hello and welcome to our program. The Rising Northeast Investors Summit is on from the 23rd to the 24th of this month. The Prime Minister, Shri Modi, delivered the inaugural address today. So today that's going to be the center and the topic of our conversation, which is about investment in the Northeast and the future possibilities. We are delighted to have with us in the studio Mr. Deepak Devan, who is an expert in Northeastern affairs, and Mr. A. Anand, advisor of the ASAN Electronics Development Corporation Limited, AMTRON. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to start with you, Deepak. You have great expertise in the region. This is a summit which has attracted a lot of investment, of course, and we are looking forward to different levels of investment. The Prime Minister himself, so very keen on, as he said, look Northeast, it's act Northeast now. Rising infrastructure, development, investment, your views, just give us a little context on how it started, how was it, and where are we now?
Exactly 11 years ago, when the BJP government came into power and Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister for the first time, he said that enough of the look east policy, now we have to act. So he changed that look east to act east. And this 11 years period has seen a lot of hard work, planning, implementation, involving center and the state governments in the planning. Earlier what was happening here was there was a donor ministry, Development of Northeast Region Ministry, which was considered as a donor ministry, as donation is being given.
Right.
So the task of the donor ministry became more challenging when this government came into power in 2014. And with the result, you see the donor ministry started going to different states. The donor ministry at your doorstep. I remember there was different ministers of donor have changed since then. But the policy has remained intact. They would visit each state capital with the secretary, donor and other concerned officials and have meetings with the Chief Minister, Chief Secretary and the Development Commissioner and decide then and there what were the priorities for the state and how center had to help them. And that was a long task. The developing state or a region is not that you create buildings. You have to create everything. Communication, commerce, everything.
All the backward and forward linkages.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's history. How are we positioned now?
You'll be surprised to know that, the central government connectivity, we have so many flights operating to Northeast region. We have so many trains running to Northeast region. In fact, the center's plan to connect every northeastern state with the railway is getting into a fast momentum. In fact, just a week ago, there was a trial run of train from Bairabi to Aizawl, the capital, 30 kilometers away from the Aizawl. There's a place called Sairang. The trial run has already been completed, and I think June we expect train to connect Mizoram.
In fact, connectivity is actually the core of bringing development anywhere and sustaining it. And before we come to you and talk about other modes and how connectivity and infrastructure have all improved, I'd like to just bring Anand in. Anand, if you could share with us, when we talk of connectivity, the digital landscape, it's been transformational, the effort that has been put in. Do share a little bit with us.
So we had a PM Divan initiative which was launched last year. And the best thing in this scheme was that instead of normally what happens in all central government departments, they formulate a scheme and then ask you to make a proposal. They asked us that there are some SDG gaps in Northeast pertaining to healthcare, education, inclusion of women in digital economy. There is lack of innovation in new industries coming in Northeast. How do you address all of this using technology? And we framed a project under PM Divine called 3D Printing Center of Excellence, which is one of the first projects to be sanctioned and already completed in Northeast. Now, in this, we have been able to show how technology can show ease of living and ease of doing business and creating new kind of products and services with Northeastern context. So, firstly, in healthcare. In healthcare, dental healthcare is very, very minimal availability prior to this particular project because you don't have enough doctors or technicians who can come and make a simple capping for you. I'll give you some real example. For example, in Arunachal, the Industries Commissioner had to travel from Itanagar to Guwahati 10 times to get a simple teeth implant done. Besides the cost that he borne for the teeth implant, he had to spend 1.5 lakh rupees in transport up and down to get a teeth made. The out-of-pocket is very high. Now we have got a digital dentistry in which a girl with a laptop, with a scanner goes in the field. She scans the oral conditions of the patient. We have the data on the cloud. We understand what's the kind of problem the patient is facing and what could take typically between 7 days to 20 days to solve is being solved in D+3, which means today if I have the scan, something by evening and a bigger problem by next 2 days. So between 24 to 72 hours, we are able to give a dental solution to a patient irrespective of the location where he stays. This was unheard of in Northeastern context. Right. So we have now 8 full centers functional all across Northeast. That is one. Secondly, if you talk about the major industries in Northeast, oil and gas is a very big industry. We have 4 major refineries, 3 of Indian Oil and 1 of the Maliga refinery. Each of them had a major problem. They have got about 300 crores worth of inventory lying unused for ages because they don't know when they will need a particular spare part which needs to be fitted in the refinery and they cannot stop the operations. This was happening because there was no person who could repair or to make a spare part on demand for them. Under 3D printing, we were able to digitize the spare parts and then print on demand certain spare parts for refinery, something unthinkable in Northeast context. And we are very, very sure that each of the refineries will be saving at least 300 crores worth of interest amount in the inventories that they store. That's number one. Number two, create new kind of jobs because the boys who will be learning AI, digital designing, 3D printing, the kind of jobs that they'll get in the digital economy are those kind of jobs which will help them to break the middle income barrier, which Niti Aayog and all PM is saying that if India has to grow, Viksit Bharat mission, the average earning per person has to exceed 1.5 lakh rupees per month, which is about 18 lakh per annum. Only then we can become Viksit Bharat. Now, these kind of jobs which are coming, whether digital scanning of teeth, whether it is 3D printing of spare parts, these kind of jobs will bring new kind of jobs without migration in the local economy itself.
Right.
We are also very proud to say that in this center, we have been able to make 2 special spare parts, one for aerospace in the rocket launches and one for a purpose which is in very high specialized marine environment. From here, we supported National Institute of Oceanography in Goa with a spare part and we made a spare part for an aerospace company based out of Bangalore.
Right. So Anand, what we're really hearing you say that right from what is required on ground to actually high-tech and innovative ideas, and I think all that, the complete spectrum you're spanning. In fact, when we talk of the backward and the forward linkages, and earlier Deepak had also spoken about you need to build connectivity, you need to build the roads. So the Prime Minister himself in his inaugural address did speak about infrastructure and the development and all that is going in. So let's listen to him before we actually invite one of our correspondents who are also online to have a conversation with us on this.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट लैंड ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज बन रहा है. हमने नॉर्थ ईस्ट में कनेक्टिविटी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर लाखों करोड़ रुपए खर्च किए. आप अरुणाचल जाएंगे तो सेला टनल जैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आपको मिलेगा. आप असम जाएंगे तो भूपेन हजारिका ब्रिज जैसे कई मेगा प्रोजेक्ट दिखेंगे. सिर्फ 1 दशक में नॉर्थ ईस्ट में 11,000 किलोमीटर के नए हाईवे बनाए गए हैं. सैकड़ों किलोमीटर की नई रेल लाइनें बिछाई गई है. नॉर्थ ईस्ट में एयरपोर्ट की संख्या 2 गुनी हो चुकी है.
We're also very happy to have our correspondent from Arunachal Pradesh, Rakesh Tole. Rakesh, welcome to the program. You have some very interesting inputs on infrastructure development and the rising Northeast. Please share them with us.
If we see some of the subjects of the summit today, Arunachal Pradesh has a huge potential to attract investors in sectors like tourism and hospitality, agro-food processing and allied sectors, textiles, handloom and handicrafts, and especially in the hydropower sector. When we speak about the hydropower sector of Arunachal Pradesh, it is estimated that Arunachal Pradesh has about 38%, that is, which is about 50 gigawatt of India's total hydropower potential, and it is the highest among all the states. Recently, the state cabinet has approved the formation of a joint venture company with NIPCO to implement 5 hydropower projects in the Siome district of the state. Again, the Lower Subansiri hydropower project is on the verge of completion. Even today, the Arunachal Pradesh government has signed a memorandum with the villages of Pakang village in Siang district at the Indo-China border to initiate the preliminary feasibility report of the Siang Upper Multipurpose Project. So in the hydro energy sector, lots of works are under progress, and also a government's effort to bring investors is also very much visible here. The Prime Minister today in his speech spoke about the Silla Tunnel in Tawang in the state. Again, an international border district with China. The Silla Tunnel, which the Prime Minister inaugurated last year, is the world's longest twin tunnel, enhances all-weather connectivity to Tawang and bolstering defense logistics near the line of actual control. This tunnel has reduced the traveling time by an hour. So these infrastructure projects have already made life easier and boosted tourism in the state. Today we see lots of tourists traveling to remote locations of Anini in Dibang Valley district. And this has happened because the road infrastructure has so rapidly changed here in Arunachal Pradesh that almost every part of the state is motorable today. As a whole today, Arunachal Pradesh is potentially one of the most favorite places for investors almost on every possible sectors the state offers.
Manas Pratim Sarma, who's our correspondent in Gangtok, Sikkim, is also with us. Manas, welcome to the program. If you could help us see what's happening on ground, what are the changes that have come across, how are people receiving it, the on-ground report, that would really be helpful.
In the initial remark, what Deepak ji has said, we have seen tremendous progress in terms of infrastructures, in the road communication, in the rail communication in Northeast in the last 10 to 11 years. What the Prime Minister has mentioned about the bridges, the number of bridges that has been constructed over the river Brahmaputra in Assam, along with doubling of railway tracks, infrastructure development in national highways, that's all help in bringing investment in Northeast. Recently in Assam, we had Advantage Assam, the second edition, when lakhs of rupees of MOs have been signed. If you talk about Sikkim, where I am right now located, the number of tourists, from this place in Sikkim, the districts of Geijing and the Gangtok and Lasan, Lasun, all these things, all the developments have been made that definitely help in booming the industry, in the tourism industry, infrastructures, job creation, and as a whole, the GDP to the region and to the country.
Thank you. Absolutely. Deepak, bringing you in over here, when we talk of infrastructure, we talk of development, real ground progress. What's in it for the private sector? Because they look at the commercial angle more than the social angle. How excited is private investment for going into the north?
See, the private investment, for them it's a business, whether they get into your floriculture, whether they want to get into agriculture producers, whether they want to go for textile, handlooms, handicrafts, agro-food processing, or even energy sector, which is a big area, and we have the big players like Reliance and Adani. They are looking at it and they have already invested. And today we got commitment. Mr. Adani said they have already invested 50,000 crores, and he has announced today publicly in the meeting that they would be investing another 50,000 crores in the next 10 years. And Mr. Mukesh Ambani, who was also present there, he said so far his company has invested 30,000 crores and he will increase to 75,000 crores. So you can imagine, you should see how Northeast will flourish with all this investment going in, because that is going to make people prosper.
Right. In fact, you spoke about the private equity and private sector actually committing, and infrastructure also increasing, because that's a huge pull for them. And the Prime Minister also spoke about ASEAN partners, how we can internationally increase exposure of Northeastern products across this group. Let's hear a bit about that, and then we'll come back to you, Deepak, to help us understand that what is the scope there.
हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज को आगे बढ़कर इस अवसर का पूरा लाभ उठाना चाहिए। आपको फर्स्ट मूवर एडवांटेज से चूकना नहीं है। साथियों, आने वाले दशक में नॉर्थ ईस्ट का ट्रेड पोटेंशियल कई गुना बढ़ने वाला है। आज भारत और आसियान के बीच का ट्रेड वॉल्यूम लगभग $125 बिलियन है। आने वाले वर्षों में ये $200 बिलियन को पार कर जाएगा। नॉर्थ ईस्ट इस ट्रेड का एक मजबूत ब्रिज बनेगा, आसियान के लिए ट्रेड का गेटवे बनेगा।
So ASEAN,
yes,
gateway for that. Where do you see this happening?
Unfortunately, the things happening in Myanmar, because of there's a delay because of that. Because earlier we had planned a trilateral highway starting from Manipur border to Thailand. That has got delayed because of the internal problem Myanmar is having. But nevertheless, we have air connectivity. once we have all this investment there and the products are there, so naturally there's no problem. Like instead of going through the land route, right now even the floriculture is going, the flowers are being exported by air. So, that would happen in any case, whether situation becomes normal now or never or later, whenever. But, we are not depending on that.
Right. Anand, your views on this, what would you like to say?
One more submission of what Deepak has been mentioning. We are already working with the refineries to make some kind of speciality chemicals and products which have a huge market demand across Southeast Asia in the ASEAN region. So 3 areas we have targeted. A is speciality petrochemicals, which will be an offshoot of 3D printing. So 3D printing requires a lot of raw materials, and we are trying to make Northeast as the manufacturing base for entire India and ASEAN. With Nuwaligarh, we are having a Nuwaligarh refinery. We are entering into agreement with Stratasys, which is the world's largest company in 3D printing, to start making those specialty chemicals. So our focus is very clear. We are working on low volume, high value manufacturing. So this is 3D printing raw material is one such material, only be exported by air. The second is spare parts of refineries. What they are making worldwide at X, we are making it only 30% of the cost. From Assam, today we have exported 2 spare parts to Middle East for the refinery. If that goes through in the approval process, you can imagine if we can send spare parts manufactured in Guwahati to Middle East, we can export it anywhere in the ASEAN in the oil and gas sector. So oil and gas economy, this and the aerospace economy. Let us also not forget that 3D printing in aviation is going to be a big thing. India is going to import many more aircrafts. Where are you going to repair the spare parts of the aircraft? Currently, most of the overhauls are happening in Bangalore or major ones in Singapore. So what we have proposed is that we can develop Northeast as a base to make spare parts for aircraft using 3D printing technology. These kind of things, they will be always of a huge demand irrespective of the global uncertainties. And the business processes are being refined in such a way that in geopolitical tensions, also Northeast becomes a major supply source to different parts of the world.
Right. Deepak, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, Ms. Anand, there's also great effort to produce ethanol in the region. Can you tell us something about that?
As we are going green, every oil and gas company has been told to meet net zero goals.
Yes.
Now, currently we're all manufacturing from the crude, which has a carbon footprint. But thanks to the blending policy of Government of India, where we blend ethanol with petrol to meet these norms set by government, the best part is the raw material is green gold bamboo, which is naturally available in Northeast.
Yes.
It's a renewable source. So already Nuwaligarh refinery has started the first bioethanol plant, which has gone into trial production right now. And with times to come, it will also lead to doublings of farmer income, because ultimately the farmers will get a better price for the bamboo which they sell. Instead of a simple using it for low-end furniture, low-end value, you can supply this for processing in the bioethanol plant. So that's got a great future, all the biofuels.
Okay, so we're just wanting to shift the tone and tenor of this conversation towards young people and education. And I think the Prime Minister did pay a lot of stress on how youth development, how actually for so long, because of different local circumstances, the young people in the Northeast have been denied so many opportunities. But today, in terms of opening up of centers of excellence, education and higher education, a lot of work is being done. So let's listen to him before we'll actually invite, we have a correspondent from Kohima, Nagaland. Osonyo, we will welcome you to the program. Welcome.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Osonyo, so we're going to listen to the Prime Minister and then we'll take your inputs on that.
Northeast में एजुकेशन और स्किल डेवलपमेंट इकोसिस्टम पर केंद्र सरकार बहुत बड़ा निवेश कर रही। बीते दशक में 21,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा नॉर्थ ईस्ट के एजुकेशन सेक्टर पर इन्वेस्ट किए गए। करीब 850 नए स्कूल बनाए गए। नॉर्थ ईस्ट का पहला एम्स बन चुका है। 9 नए मेडिकल कॉलेज बनाए गए। 2 नए ट्रिपल आईटी नॉर्थ ईस्ट में बने हैं। मिजोरम में इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मास कम्युनिकेशन का कैंपस बनाया गया।
So, Sonyo, wanting to understand from you that young people, a lot of them would come to mainland central India and different parts for studying. But in terms of education and centers of excellence for higher education, a lot of investment is being done there. So are we seeing excitement there to take further studies up there in the northeastern region by young people?
Yes, of course. When we see over the past years, there were less opportunity here when I say about Nagaland, less opportunities in terms of education sectors. But as time passed by and with the present government bringing in new initiatives We have seen an enormous changes in the education sectors also. So we have Nagaland skill development missions wherein students are being trained, are given vocational trainings to prepare themselves for employment. So we have also investment coming from the Japan government, wherein the Nagaland government has also joined hands with the Arms Incorporation for skill developments, where the Japanese government teach Japanese languages to the young people of Nagaland. We have seen a lot of changes here in Nagaland.
So, Sonyu, the Prime Minister also spoke about music and dance and culture and festivity and how it's an integral part of life in the northeastern region.
Yes.
And the Hornbill Festival is something that across the country, in fact, across the world, people know about it. To share a bit about that with us.
We all know that Nagaland government has launched Hornbill Festival in the year 2000. And now last year, 2024 was the Silver Jubilee. And when we look at the comparison of inflow of tourists coming to Nagaland, we have seen a significant increase of visitors last year. So I think Nagaland government is promoting the Hornbill Festival to a festival, not just in promoting our culture and tradition, but it also is promoting the festival of business, conference, partnership, and collaboration rather than a mere festivity. So we have seen a lot of growth in the tourism sector.
Right. And here's looking forward to, many more calendar events being marked in calendars across the country and across the world where people are coming in droves to the Northeast. Sonyu, thank you so much. Deepak, your inputs we'd like, from you on, you spoke of ethanol earlier. In fact, you'd asked Anand that question, green fuel, organic food. And I think this was another stress that the Prime Minister did give on organic food. And he's very keen that something Indian should be present on every dining table across the world. What a beautiful vision. But also to say that Assam has so much to offer, and its organic growth, organic renewal is deeply intertwined into their culture. So let's listen to the Prime Minister before we come to you.
आज दुनिया में ऑर्गेनिक फूड की डिमांड भी बढ़ रही है, होलिस्टिक हेल्थ केयर का मिजाज बना है, और मेरा तो सपना है कि दुनिया के हर डाइनिंग टेबल पर कोई न कोई भारतीय फूड ब्रांड होनी ही चाहिए. इस सपने को पूरा करने में नॉर्थ ईस्ट का रोल बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. बीते दशक में नॉर्थ ईस्ट में ऑर्गेनिक खेती का दायरा 2 गुना हो चुका है.
So Deepak, Northeast riding the organic wave.
Sikkim has taken the lead in terms of having 100% organic agro production. Everything in Sikkim, whether it's fruit or vegetable or any agro product, they're all 100% organic. Seeing that the other states in the region are also following the example of Sikkim. In fact, Assam has sent, I think, couple of consignments of pineapple to Middle East. And Mizoram is producing excellent organic passion fruit, which in Delhi, if you go to any fruit shop in Khan Market, they sell one fruit for 100 rupees. And in Mizoram, it is in abundance. And there are 3 varieties of passion fruit which are available there. As I'm saying, this summit is also focusing on the agro-food processing. Something will come out definitely. I mean, plans and projects which can go all over the world.
Right, absolutely. In fact, Anand, the digital investment, how the digital landscape, you earlier spoke of it transforming the bigger industries, the refineries. Is there a focus on small, I think maybe the cottage industries, the small farmer or the small little self-help groups that are coming together because, it's a grassroots movement. So is there something planned for them?
We're happy to know that we are working with NEHSDC, which is Northeastern Handloom Handicraft Development Corporation, to deploy technology to double farmers' income. So some of the initiatives which have been planned is we have some natural resources like Muga silk and other kind of handmade fabrics, Eri silk, Muga silk, Eri silk, by the way, is a ahimsa silk. It's a process where in the end, the pupa, the butterfly flies of it is not killed. So these are in great demand, but the problem in the market is that there is a lot of mixing of natural made products with Chinese products. That's why the customer, though he pays for a natural product from Northeast, but ultimately he is not getting the genuine product. So we are introducing blockchain in that process, wherein when a person knows that when he is paying for a particular product, then he can buy that thing. It's the original thing. You can trace it back to the source. That's one. Secondly, potential of Indian food on every part of the world. We should know that the entire northern region falls under the Indo-Burmese hotspot. So we have been working with IBSD. IBSD is a Department of Biotechnology arm based out of Imphal, to use Bivia platform to map all the flora of Northeast and bring out their nutritional value. So this will also going to change the landscape in terms of the resources which are going to benefit the local population. Third is that we are going to promote bamboo in a very big way through digital designing. We plan to open up AR/VR training centers to make innovative furnitures by women's self-help groups across Northeast. And these designer products will be sold as a high value product for customers who like to go for handmade, handcrafted green products in the world which is focusing on green economy.
Right. I'd like to right now invite Gingante, who's our correspondent in Aizawl, Mizoram.
As far as organic is concerned, there is no other place which is as fertile as the Northeast. The product of the Northeast, such as pineapple, chili, bamboo shoot, ginger, and many other horticulture and agro products are organic in nature, since the hills which surround the Northeast are as fresh as the virgin soil. Therefore, organic product is one of the strengths of the Northeast today. And if we want to promote organic food in the country, and if we want to make organic items as one of the items at the international level, we could harness the potential of the Northeast so that the Northeast could get benefit from its horticulture and agro production.
Deepak, to bring it all together, and I think the Prime Minister also did all bring it together, he said that we cannot have a Viksit Bharat without an absolutely closely interlinked and developed Northeastern region.
विकसित भारत के निर्माण के लिए पूर्वी भारत का विकसित होना बहुत जरूरी है और नॉर्थ ईस्ट पूर्वी भारत का सबसे अहम अंग है। हमारे लिए ईस्ट का मतलब सिर्फ एक दिशा नहीं है, हमारे लिए ईस्ट का मतलब है एम्पावर, एक्ट, स्ट्रेंथन एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म। पूर्वी भारत के लिए यही हमारी सरकार की नीति है, यही पॉलिसी, यही प्रायोरिटी आज पूर्वी भारत को, हमारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट को ग्रोथ के सेंटर स्टेज पर लेकर आई।
So we talk of integration, we talk of social, cultural, but I think this step for economic integration, very, very critical.
And for this, I think I would like to salute the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, for spearheading this movement of development in the region. He is the second Prime Minister who visited Northeastern Council headquarters in Shillong. Before him, imagine late 70s, late Prime Minister Morarji Desai had gone. So that shows his dedication. And he is the first Prime Minister to have visited this NAC headquarters second time. That's how you see the results. If the Prime Minister of the country is determined to develop the Northeast region, I don't think anybody can stop.
Right. I think well said. A good note to wind up the program, to dream, to dedicate, and then to deliver. We are seeing delivery on all aspects. Deepak Diwan and A. Anand, thank you so much for coming onto our program. It was a pleasure, learned a lot, and thank you all listeners for tuning in.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Rising Northeast, India's next big investment destination. The participants were Deepak Diwan, expert, Northeast Affairs, and A. Anand, advisor, Assam Electronics Development Corporation Limited. Moderator was Gaura Dhawanlal. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsttalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 928 909 4044.